What if there was a secret brainwave, a hidden frequency that could automatically make you rich? Sounds like science fiction, right? A special signal that once you switch it on, just starts pulling money and opportunities right to you. You've probably seen the ads for stuff like this. The internet is full of gurus promising to reprogram your subconscious overnight with manifestation magnets or abundance frequencies, usually for a nice little fee. And look, it's easy to be skeptical. In fact, you should be skeptical. But this isn't just another video debunking things. We're going to get into the actual neuroscience of brainwave entrainment, your brain's powerful reward system, and what's really going on with these so-called wealth frequencies. Is there any truth to a wealth brainwave, or is it just a clever story built on some real and frankly far more powerful psychological principles? Let's find out. So how does the story go? It usually starts with a mysterious group of neuroscientists, maybe at a big name school like Harvard, who stumble upon a specific brainwave pattern. This isn't your normal beta wave for focus or delta for sleep. No, this one is hidden, a frequency that supposedly vibrates on the same level as abundance itself. Then come the products, with names like the billionaire brainwave or pyramid wealth frequency. They sell you audio tracks with special sounds that promise to do one thing: tune your brain to the money channel. The theory they pitch is that most of us are stuck in scarcity mode, a state of stress that pushes opportunities away because our brainwaves are out of sync. They claim that by listening to these tracks, you can entrain your brain, zeroing in on alpha and theta waves. Alpha waves pop up when you're relaxed but alert, and theta waves are linked to that dreamy state of deep relaxation and intuition. The idea is that these sounds bypass your cynical conscious mind and rewrite your subconscious for wealth. And you can see why it's such a tempting pitch, right? It suggests the only thing standing between you and your dreams isn't hard work or strategy, it's just one stubborn brainwave that needs a little push. At this point, you're probably thinking, this sounds way too good to be true, and you'd be right to ask, so, what about the science? And what's the deal with the Harvard name that gets thrown around to make it all sound so official? Okay, let's get one thing straight. After digging through the actual scientific literature, there is no study from Harvard or anywhere else that has discovered a hidden brainwave that automatically attracts wealth. It doesn't exist. Not in any peer-reviewed journal, it's a marketing tactic, plain and simple, using a big name to sell a product. But the story isn't pulled out of thin air. It's a massive exaggeration, wrapped around a few kernels of scientific truth. Real Harvard researchers have looked into how our brains and our environments are connected to financial outcomes. For example, studies have shown that a person's socioeconomic background can shape the development of the brain's reward centers. This research suggests that growing up in a high-stress, low-income environment can actually dampen the brain's sensitivity to rewards, which might affect your motivation and decisions later on. So while Harvard scientists are studying the deep links between our brains and the conditions that lead to wealth or poverty, they haven't found a magic-on switch. The real story is way more complex and a lot more interesting. The marketers just took that nuanced research and spun it into a sensational headline to get your click. If there's no wealth brainwave, what about the alpha and theta waves they talk about? Are they real? 100%. And the idea of using sound to influence them, called brainwave entrainment, is also a real thing. Here's how it works. Your brain is always buzzing with electrical activity, and we measure the speed of these pulses in hertz, or haze. These are your brainwaves. Alpha waves, 8 to 12 hertz, show up when you're calm and relaxed but still awake. Think of that feeling when you're daydreaming or just finished meditating. That's your brain in an alpha state. Theta waves, 4 to 8 hertz, are slower and linked to deep relaxation, creativity, and that twilight state right before you fall asleep. This is when your subconscious is said to be more open, which is exactly why these programs target it. Brainwave entrainment, which often uses something called binaural beats, is a way of feeding two slightly different sound frequencies into each ear. Your brain hears the difference between them and starts producing brainwaves at that new frequency. So yes, you can technically use audio to nudge your brain into producing more theta or alpha waves. Studies have shown it can help temporarily reduce anxiety or get you into a meditative state. But here's the all-important difference. Making yourself feel relaxed or creative is not the same as automatically attracting wealth. A calm mind might make a smarter financial decision, a creative mind might spark a new business idea, but an audio file isn't going to magically make money rain from the ceiling. It just changes your mental state for a little while. The real work, that's still on you. By the way, if you're getting some value out of this and want to learn more about how to actually use your brain to build success, do me a favor and hit that like button. It really helps the channel and tells YouTube you want more no-hype content like this. And if you haven't already, subscribe so you don't miss what's next. So, if a magic brainwave isn't the answer, what is the real link between our brain and financial success? It really comes down to two things: your brain's reward system and the abundance mindset. Your brain runs on a powerful motivation circuit that's fueled by a chemical called dopamine. When you expect or get a reward, your brain releases dopamine, which makes you feel good and drives you to repeat the action that got you the reward. This system is the engine behind every single goal you've ever chased. This is where the idea of an abundance mindset versus a scarcity mindset comes in, and this part is backed by solid neuroscience. A scarcity mindset is the belief that there's never enough, not enough money, not enough time, not enough opportunity. This belief flips the threat switch in your brain. It fires up your amygdala, the brain's fear center, and floods you with stress hormones. When that happens, your thinking becomes short-term and panicky. Your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for smart long-term planning, gets partially sidelined. You're literally not thinking straight because your brain is in survival mode. Now flip that. An abundance mindset is the core belief that opportunities and resources are plentiful. This doesn't trigger a threat. Instead, it primes your brain's reward system. It dials up dopamine, which boosts your optimism, creativity, and drive to go after goals. You start seeing solutions instead of problems. You're more open to new ideas, and you bounce back faster from setbacks. You're not attracting wealth from the cosmos, you are literally calibrating your brain to spot and seize opportunities that a stressed-out brain would completely miss. This brings us to the most empowering idea in all of neuroscience: neuroplasticity. This is the proven fact that your brain isn't set in stone. It can physically change and rewire itself by forming new connections based on your experiences and thoughts. The wealth brainwave myth is popular because it promises a free lunch, an automatic, effortless upgrade. But real, lasting change doesn't work that way. It takes conscious effort. Neuroplasticity is the tool, but you are the one who has to use it. You can intentionally change your thought patterns, and in doing so, physically reshape your brain to support an abundance mindset. So how do you do it? It's not about a magic audio file. It's about consistent mental practice. First, gratitude. When you make a regular habit of focusing on what you're thankful for, you are training your brain's attention to look for the good instead of the bad. This isn't just a nice feeling, it's a cognitive workout that strengthens positive neural pathways. Second, setting clear goals and visualizing them. When you define a goal and vividly imagine achieving it, you're lighting up your prefrontal cortex and priming your reward system. You're showing your brain what to aim for. This engages a part of your brain called the reticular activating system, which acts like a filter. By focusing on your goals, you're telling that filter to flag relevant people, resources, and ideas that you might have otherwise ignored. Third, actively managing your thoughts. When you catch yourself thinking, "I'll never afford that," or "there are no good opportunities," you have to consciously challenge that thought. This is the foundation of cognitive behavioral therapy, and it's you using neuroplasticity to your own advantage. You are actively weakening the scarcity circuits and building new ones for abundance. This is the real mind reprogramming. It's not passive, it's active, intentional, and incredibly powerful. So let's circle back. Is there a hidden wealth brainwave that stunned a bunch of Harvard scientists? No, that's a marketing myth designed to sell a shortcut that simply doesn't exist. The real secret isn't a passive frequency that zaps money into your life. The truth is that your brain's relationship with wealth is something you actively create and control. The magic isn't in some undiscovered brainwave, it's in the proven science of your reward system and your brain's incredible ability to change, a process known as neuroplasticity. You don't need a hidden frequency to unlock your potential. You already have the most sophisticated piece of technology on the planet for changing your reality, your own mind. By understanding how it actually works, by building an abundance mindset, practicing gratitude, and setting clear goals, you take the driver's seat. You can rewire your brain for success, not by listening to a sound, but by doing the work. What do you think about all this? Have you ever tried brainwave entrainment or other mind reprogramming techniques? I'd love to hear about your experience, so drop a comment below. And if this video gave you a new perspective, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the real science of success. Thanks for watching.